it's been a while. I'm thrilled to be back here with you, and with nothing more special than a transformational experience. And if you've been watching it all, through what we're doing, you've been seeing the progress and a lot of the interesting things we've been talking about with the art hotels and art experiences group in Ecuador. Just amazing. And you first met them when we were, on a project introducing you to some of the micro entrepreneurs that they foster and bring into their family, so to speak. And you all fell in love with them, and then we wound up working with this wonderful group officially. And it's just been amazing. I'm kind of just speaking from the heart here, and that this struck me and it struck all of you from the beginning. This is a brand that really believes in integrating the local community and elevating them as well, bringing those people who they call the magic makers and the dream makers into the guest experience. So every time you stay at one of their properties and every time that you book one of their experiences, you are meeting the locals truly who are welcoming you into their workshops, into their homes, cooking food for you, things like that, making music for you. And you really do become part of the community. But more than that, you uncover secrets that they're very willing to share with you about their ancestry. So this is a group that's intensely, fiercely proud of where they live and where they come from. And it's just a beautiful story that unfolds pretty much every day as we learn something new. So I am thrilled today. We have the experiences manager with us, Sarun Majarian, who is amazing and loves what she does just as much as you'll love all of these properties and all of this wonderful content that you're going to see. So hi, thanks for being here with us.
Hi, Gabby. Thanks for having me. We're so excited to be able to be here today.
Me too. And you have a great story to tell. So you and I are going to talk a little bit later, but I'm going to turn it over to you because you have an amazing presentation with some great video content too. And I'm going to let you tell the story in your own words. So over to you.
Thank you so much, Gabby. I'm really excited to present these two concepts, Art Hotels Ecuador and Art Experiences Travel. Art Hotels Ecuador started about 6 years ago, and we're still in our first phase, which is to open 5 hotels all around Ecuador. We currently have Hotel Mama Cuchara in Quito, Hotel Otavalo in Otavalo, and Hotel Cruz del Vado in Cuenca, and another property under development in Guayaquil. As Gabby mentioned, we work really deeply in the neighborhoods where each of our hotels are, and we have built special relationships with these entrepreneurs that offer exceptional activities, authentic experiences here in Ecuador. And so we decided to start Art Experiences Travel in order to kind of manage the entire experience of our guests when they come to visit our country. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more information about our concept. Our mission is to elevate the status of hospitality services in Ecuador. Not only do we want to be, the best hotels or have 5-star personalized service in our properties, but we want the entire country, all of our competitors, to be better in order to raise the destination as a whole. Our vision is to develop prestigious hotels synonymous with global service standards and across all of Ecuador and potentially in the future, maybe grow regionally. This is a family owned company. So everything that I'm talking about, all of the concepts are based on our values, which come from the family that are the owners. So this family has a very deep value for art and history. That's why all of our properties are, for now, in historical houses, in patrimonial houses. We respect all of the architecture of our properties. Each of them has a extensive collection of art. The name of our brand obviously is Art Hotels Ecuador and Art Experiences Travel, because we like to do everything in a very artful way. And this comes from our value of art and history. We also have the value of design and function. Those are the architects and designers in the family, and also the hoteliers. That's the function part. So we make sure that everything is beautiful and aesthetic, but also that it works, that there isn't noise, that there isn't lights that are going to bother people at night. All of those things that are important, all of the details we take very much care of. And of course, we also have collaboration and people. This is everything that we do inside of our hotels as well as in the communities where we are. So Our greatest assets are our people, the people that work with us, of course, our vendors, our guests, and of course, the micro entrepreneurs that we talked about. And so we have the part of collaboration, how we work together with the communities um, in order to raise the status of the area around each one of our hotels. Phase one. So, phase one, we wanted to be in the two international cities, Quito and Guayaquil. These are the international airports of the country. From there, you have access to the world as well as access to the Galapagos Islands. But also, we don't want people to just come and go to the Galapagos. We want them to see all that Ecuador has to offer. So, we have extensions in Otavalo and in Cuenca, respectively. So Quito to Otavalo is a very easy extension, as Guayaquil to Cuenca, as you can see. And then, of course, you have your flights to the marvelous Galapagos Islands, which is also part of our phase one. I haven't said anything yet, but we're working on a property in uh, in the Galapagos as well. More details to come. To give you a little bit more information about each of our properties, um, we've put together a few photos so you can see. This is Hotel Mama Cuchara. I'm actually in this property right now. You can see behind me the details that we put into each of the rooms. Although we are in patrimonial houses, all of the rooms are very modern, comfortable. You have all of the amenities and conveniences that you need: iPhone docking stations, telephones, TVs, everything that you need. As you can see, we have distinctive features in all of our hotels. For example, all of our hotels have a rooftop bar. In Mama Cuchara, the bar is called El Santo Queda Marido, which is after a local legend. And it has a 360-degree view of all of the city. Is spectacular. Here you can also see some of the entrepreneurs that we work with. For example, Café de la Villata or La Cuchara Gallery that shows artisanias from the Amazon. Next, I'd like to present Hotel Otavalo. Otavalo was our second property. As I mentioned, it's in the circuit very close to Quito. It is the only luxury property in the city of Otavalo, which is known as the indigenous capital of the country. Otavalo is famous for its market and also all of the indigenous culture that you can experience there. So the activities that we have there are incredible. You can work with Andean instruments, you can make dream catchers, you can weave your own Andean bracelets. And these are all things that we like to do before we take you to the market so that you can actually get a very good appreciation of all of the work, the textiles, the handicrafts that are in the market in Otavalo. Next, we have Hotel Cruz del Vado. This is the property in Cuenca. As you can see from the facade, it's a marvelous property. It's unique with its pink marble facade that was locally sourced. Again, in Otavalo, we have a rooftop bar with a spectacular view of both the new side and the old side of the city. It's called Cupulas Azules, after the famous blue domes of Cuenca. All of our properties have similar features or similar amenities, but each of them has their own character, their own personality when you're inside of them, and that's really what gives it the boutique feel. Cuenca is known, recognized by UNESCO as the Ciudad de Artesanías for all the handicraft work that is done there. So the activities that we have in Cuenca are incredible. You can really get your hands dirty and make some beautiful things to take back home with you. Here we have a preview of Hotel Rio Guayas. This is the property that we're currently working on in Guayaquil. We're very excited about this property because it's our first property that is not a restoration. It's actually a new build. Even though it's a new build, it is in the traditional neighborhood of Las Peñas, which is one of the only traditional neighborhoods in the city of Guayaquil due to the fires that that city has gone through. So, although this is a new build, we're going to obviously respect very much the architecture, the emblematic architecture of Las Peñas, which is very colorful, a bit colonial. And so, as you can see here with the renders, it's going to be a beautiful property facing the river. All the rooms have balconies. You can see again, we have our signature rooftop bar, this time with an infinity pool because the weather in the coast is very different than the weather in the highlands here in Ecuador. So we want everyone to be able to appreciate that. And as I mentioned, in the Galapagos, we're working on a property there, and we currently, through Art Experiences Travel, are already working to find the micro entrepreneurs and the locals that we want to work with to provide this level of authentic activities and experiences for our guests. Something that we really try to do throughout all of our properties is locally sourced. So, for example, all of the materials that are in our properties are either made in Ecuador, made from recycled materials, using Ecuadorian ingredients. For example, we feature local artists. Here you can see this is an artist, Franklin Mora. He is exhibiting his work currently in Otavalo. He is Otavaleñan and he finds his inspiration in the Otavaleñan people. As you can see him, he's next to his art, but it actually looks like they're photographs, no? But he's a an artist that works in realism, and so these are all done in pencil, and it's incredible the art that he can do. You can also see photos, for example, of lights that are hanging. Those are made of recycled plastic bottles, and they're made in a way that they're in equilibrium, so they move with the wind, and it's a form of sustainability, which is something that's very important to us. Also, you can see one of the carved headboards, which I actually have behind me here. These are made in San Antonio de Ibarra, locally. Everything that is in our hotels are locally sourced, except with the exception of technology, which we had to import. But yes, it's very important for us in our sustainable goals to feature everything Ecuadorian from the moment you get here. Here again, perfectly, we draw into sustainability. I wanted to talk a little bit about how sustainability is important to us. So as I mentioned, starting from the construction process, we try to reduce the any types of emissions. For example, in Galapagos, it's really important to take into consideration all of the environmental aspects of construction, and that's something that we have been working on, and that's why, for example, Galapagos projects take so long. Um, Also, we have the part of reusing and recycling things that we can reuse from the properties that we renovate. We bring them back to life. Um, is very important to us. Obviously, the social work that we do in the neighborhoods that we are. One example, for example, in Cuenca, the neighborhood that we were in was not known to be a very safe neighborhood. People thought we were crazy to build a hotel there, but now, I mean, we've only been open there for 3 years, and it's completely changed. It's completely renewed. Now the local municipality has actually made an investment in another historical building right next to our hotel. There's bakeries, there's cafes, there's young people dancing. It's a complete change from what it was before. And so, yes, all of everything that we do is very important for us to take sustainability into account. That said, we have to be economically successful. We are not a charity, but that's those are the things that are very important to us. And now I want to show you a brief video of how through art experiences travel we have been able to give some of our guests these experiences through our hotels, through our micro entrepreneurs, and through all of the work that we do here. So I hope you enjoy it.
That was beautiful, and I think it's in it with a story like that to tell. Sometimes it can be difficult, or just in one small presentation. So I'm so glad that we have some time now to go back and talk about some of these points. So you have a little bit more, opportunity to answer some of the questions that I know people have had over the time that we've been working with you. So I love the concept of the brand, but where did this come from? Were you all just sitting around a table and thinking about it, or was this sort of a lifelong dream of somebody? How was it born? Tell us the story.
Yes, so it was actually born from this property where I am. This property, Hotel Mama Cuchara, was purchased in 1991. It wasn't purchased thinking to make it into a hotel or anything like that. As I said, the founder is an art collector. And I think this was more, it was a patrimonial house that for him was a collection piece, no, that he wanted to preserve and conserve. So in 1991, he purchased the house. He always had a dream of making it maybe some sort of museum or a restaurant or something where he wanted to share Ecuadorian culture with the world. Um, and then here in 1998, there was an economic recession. And so nothing happened for about 15 years until 2015 when yes, a friend of the founder made a suggestion that said, you could do hotels and tourism. There was the Ministry of Tourism at the time was investing a lot in international marketing. We did the Super Bowl ad. I don't know if anyone remembers that. So um, so at that moment, that was when kind of the concept of doing a hotel brand came into play. And as I said, it's a family-owned company, so there's um, art collectors, designers, architects, and as I mentioned, the hoteliers. And so we did kind of a feasibility study, and we decided to um, go for the boutique luxury market. And so the concept was born, and we really wanted to work with the locals in order to give an authentic. So our tagline is beyond a great stay. No, so we always wanted to just use the hotels as a medium to get the people here in order to be able to share the culture with them. So as I mentioned, when the house was bought, the idea was always like a museum or a, a restaurant, like I said, something where people could come and appreciate this art that the founder has collected over his lifetime. And so yeah, so we started with Mama Cuchara, and then while Mama Cuchara was being renovated, we acquired the property that is Hotel Otavalo, which was one of the first properties, which one of the first properties, establishments, and one of the future first hotels in the city. When we were in the process of reconstructing Hotel Otavalo, it was a lime green color, and we just didn't like the color. We were going to change the color, and while we were kind of peeling the paint, we discovered this beautiful brick and stone construction base underneath. And so we actually extended the whole project by an additional 6 months in order to literally peel the entire building and leave this brick and stone exposed for everyone to see the way that construction was done 100 years ago in Otavalo. And it's an extremely unique building. It looks like a castle. It feels like a castle in the middle of the city. It's beautiful. You have to experience it. And
I
then,
love
of
that you
course, we came with. I'm sorry.
I think it's amazing that you discovered these buildings, and I think you can't possibly share it any more intimately than opening it as a hotel in somebody's home. Like, or having somebody feel like it's their home temporarily. And I kind of love that. You've done that. Like, I can't imagine going out and just finding a place like this. But it's incredible how you found these gems and created a way to transform it so that everybody can enjoy.
Yep, that's see, each person has their passion that brings uh, of an important aspect. That's all the founder. I don't know how he finds the things that he does, even just the art pieces, wherever he collects them from or wherever he gets them from. It's yeah, that's his passion. So that's what he's dedicated to, and he doesn't really like involve himself in day to day hotel operations and things like that. But the artwork, the properties, that's his 2 cents. Way
No, I
more than
love
two
that.
cents.
Like, I don't have any of that vision, so I find it amazing. And talk to us a little bit about like the through line with the design in each hotel, because you have very purposeful things that you do. You bring in art. Each of the three have a rooftop bar. Like, talk to us about some of the things that you want to remain consistent in the brand, but still while celebrating
Mhm.
each one's own personality.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, each one of our hotels has an emblematic architecture that's part of the process of finding each property. That's something that we look for and we respect and we try to highlight more than anything. Each one, we also do storytelling through the artwork, and also, for example, as I mentioned, the bar Santo Queda Marido is the name of the bar in Mama Cuchara. So that's a local legend, and through naming the bar that, we always bring up that legend and share a little bit of that culture as well. So we have the storytelling through artwork. Another thing that we have is the bar, as I mentioned, the rooftop bar in all three properties. That's something that ties us all together. Also, in terms of the details inside of each hotel, we have very subtle details that give you the sense that you're in a chain or like a branded hotel. For example, the handrails are all the same in each of our properties. Um, they have we have similar bedding and all that type of and all the in types of the linens and all those things, although each property has its own color scheme and all of that. So there are very subtle details so that you feel like, oh, I've been here before, oh, this feels comfortable to me, without walking in and feeling like, oh, okay, this is the same square box property that I was at last week. It's not that.
No, I like that. And to that point, I think as far as the American market, is it kind of a normal thing for people to do a circuit and maybe do two or three in the same stay?
Yes, absolutely. So as I mentioned, the reason we thought this out so that people could do circuits, uh, either flying into Quito, get to know a little bit of the north of the country, Quito, Otavalo, and we recognize that the major draw to Ecuador is the Galapagos, no? And so that's why we've created these circuits so that people can do them and get to know a little bit more of the country. Hopefully, get a little bit of an itch and come back. So that's the thing about in our mission. It says we want to return one-time customers into frequent visitors. We want to make Ecuador a destination that people want to come back to. That they can come here and have everything. We have the four climate regions in this country, amazing biodiversity, culture, nature. There's so much to do here, and it's not enough in one visit. So that's our goal, to give people that itch that makes them want to come back.
It is never enough. And one of the things that you touched on, and I think it deserves more time spent on it, is sustainability, because that's really important to you. It's important to everybody. And I think a lot of people have their own way of doing things. Some people say, I'm just not going to wash your towels for your stay. And they call that sustainability. You are the real deal. You walk and talk, the real thing. So tell us a few more examples of how you do that, not only in the hotel, but also with regard to how you approach involving people so that the local community can also thrive.
Yeah, so we all talk about, community tourism and how we are more sustainable in tourism. Obviously, the carbon footprint of tourism is huge because of, flights and all those things. So everyone is thinking about those types of offsets. Even in the activities that we do, you'll learn different ways to be sustainable in your everyday life. Those are some of the things that we do, for example, in Galapagos. But yes, as I said, the social aspect is very important to us. Working with the micro entrepreneurs, I think, Gabby, actually, to quote you, you said that we teach them how to fish. Um, so that is, I think, the perfect line, because we want them to be sustainable. We're not doing the work for them. No, we want them to be able to be business people and have financial success through their passion and through keeping alive these ancestral customs and traditions. So for us, yes, we have to be sustainable, and the best way to do that is by setting the example. Again, that also applies in our properties. As I mentioned, we want to elevate the service standards in Ecuador. We want our competition to see our quality as something that they have to match or try to exceed. And like this is the same way in terms of our sustainable standards, right? So if we can actually successfully do community tourism and bring financial support to these people that are seeing the culture that is recognized by UNESCO here in this country, no, um, then everyone can do it. And by setting that example, that's the best way to be sustainable, I think.
I love that. And this is a good segue because we've talked a lot about the hotels and you touched on the experiences. But what I want people to take away is, well, a million things, but to understand that you're a hotel group, but you are also a DMC creating experiences. So when I mentioned like earlier what people can do, tell us like a few, specific examples of what like maybe a family might experience. Where can they go? What can they do? Maybe visiting two or three local folks.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to give an example as though you were doing a circuit through all of our properties. So, say you were to start in Quito, right, and you were to come to Mama Cuchara, you would be greeted here with a welcome drink, a warm towel. You would be brought to your room, given a little bit of information about the house. In each of our properties, we have an insider concierge tour, so you could go for a walk around the neighborhood. But I think one thing that would be really interesting, the most interesting to do here in Quito for families, for example, if we're taking an example for family, is the carretero. He's one of the only traditional paper mache mask makers left in the country. Here in Ecuador, it's very traditional to do parades during different holidays. And so these masks are used as a part of the parades. Um, and here, he actually is literally steps away from our hotel in Mama Cuchara, and Alberto is his name. We have a very good relationship with him. And so you would visit Alberto. He would show you a little bit about his workshop and how he creates his masks. And then you would actually do make your own small masks with you. And it's very interesting because Alberto will tell you that none of the masks have a soul until the first time that you have put it on. He's a very interesting character and very passionate about what he does. So that's one of experiences that you'll have here in Quito. And then we would like to whisk you off to Otavalo. On the way to Otavalo, we'll stop and eat some traditional bizcochos with queso de hoja, which is a cheese wrapped in leaves, very traditional to the Cayambe region, which we'll be passing on our way to Otavalo. And then when we get to Otavalo, as I mentioned, you will arrive at this hotel, which seems like a castle. In Otavalo, you will have a theatrical check-in where you'll be greeted by Diablo Humo, which is another traditional character of the indigenous culture here in Ecuador. From there, we can take you to meet Alilema. Alilema is um, has a musical workshop called Taitagundo, where he actually makes a variety of different wind instruments, and has three, and is one of the only people that can play the three different South American harps and has them on display there. So Ali will also show you how you how you have to find the hearts of the bamboo, where you have to cut bamboo, how you will whittle it together and tear with a string in order to make a wind instrument. Depending on the size, they have various names and sounds and lengths, and so he's an expert in all of this. And then, of course, we'll go back to the hotel, spend a wonderful night in Otavalo, trying some of the Ecuadorian cuisine. And if we go to Cuenca, if we go to Cuenca, we can also visit the Cruz del Vado. So the names of all of our properties come from the locations. Cruz del Vado is the neighborhood where the hotel is, and this neighborhood is known for it's in the historical downtown, so it's known as for all of the artisanias, the artisan work. So we'll visit Marco Machado, who makes these whimsical little figurines or yes, figurines and flowers out of metal, out of copper. So this is a completely different experience from the masks or from what you did in Otavalo, and you get to work with metal. And so these are just it's a very small example of the types of things that we do, but the goal is for you to um, meet one-on-one these people, feel their passion, work hand in hand with them, and take something away that isn't just a souvenir, that isn't just something that you bought that you're going to stick on your refrigerator or not. It's something that you made, it's something that you learned, uh, even if you didn't, obviously you're not going to become a master at the skill in one activity, but who knows, maybe it will wake up a passion in you. And that's why we call them transformational experiences. The goal is for you when you're here is to learn about yourself, to learn about us, the people of Ecuador, and to go back with a higher sense of selfishness and of the world.
Couldn't have put that better. I think that's a beautiful way to kind of close it out and just saying, like you're right. It's more than a souvenir. It's a life-changing memory, and it's something that you can share, and also stories you can go back and tell people to inspire them to come and visit as well. Well, this has been wonderful. What a beautiful window into the brand and the soul of and just the soul of the country, and really kind of what makes you guys tick and what inspires you. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you back, and I hope everybody enjoyed the presentation. Thanks, and we'll see you again.
Thank you, Gabby. It's been a pleasure to be here.